What if I told you that the weakness and unsteadiness you feel in your legs as you age is not an irreversible sentence, but a direct result of forgetting the very foods God designed to keep you strong into your ninth decade? Most people don't know this, but your muscle tissue retains its capacity for growth and repair well past the age of 90. The real problem is that we have abandoned the specific, protein-rich superfoods that flip a powerful anabolic switch. A switch that modern science has only just discovered is activated by compounds found in ancient staples. Today, I am counting down 25 protein-rich superfoods for stronger legs after 60, ranked from helpful to absolutely essential. Stick around because number 13 on this list was so revered in the ancient world that it was used to anoint kings and fuel Olympic athletes. And modern clinical trials show it can slash your risk of age-related muscle wasting by a staggering 37%. And number 4 is a food that acts like a slow-release drip of healing, rebuilding your leg muscles while you sleep. If you want to walk with the steady confidence God intended for you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a revelation that brings ancient wisdom and modern science together for your health every single week. Let's get into it. Here are 25 protein-rich superfoods for stronger legs after 60. Ranked from a gentle assist to the absolute heavy hitters that can genuinely change the way you move through the world. Number 25. Almonds, the vigilant cell guardians. These are not just a crunchy snack to toss into a trail mix. In the context of aging legs, they represent a frontline defense system. The Bible consistently references the almond tree. From Aaron's rod that budded in the wilderness to the golden lampstand in the tabernacle designed with almond blossoms. It was a symbol of watchfulness and divine life springing forth from something that looked dormant. That symbolism is a stunning parallel to what happens in your aging muscle tissue. Your legs, even after decades of use, are not dead wood. They are waiting for the right signal to spring back to life. I remember my own grandmother, well into her 80s, telling me her legs felt hollow, as if the substance inside them had slowly drained away over the years. She was not imagining it. That hollow feeling is the literal loss of muscle fiber density. A quarter cup of almonds delivers 7 grams of protein, which is a solid start. But their secret weapon for your legs is the high concentration of vitamin E. This is the vigilant cell guardian part. Every time you take a walk, stand up from a chair, or climb a step, your leg muscles undergo a microscopic level of oxidative stress. It is a normal byproduct of movement, but as we age, our internal cleanup crew gets sluggish. Vitamin E from almonds directly neutralizes the free radicals that damage muscle cell membranes, literally protecting the physical integrity of your leg muscle fibers so they can keep contracting with power. Modern science has caught up to show that older adults with higher vitamin E intake have better physical performance scores. The traditional use here is beautifully simple. Soak a quarter cup of raw almonds in water overnight. This softens them and neutralizes the phytic acid that can block mineral absorption. In the morning, drain them and eat them slowly, one by one, feeling that creamy texture. Think of a handful of almonds not as a snack, but as a protective shield you deploy around the muscle cells in your quads and calves, keeping them resilient against the daily wear and tear that leads to frailty. It is a small, daily ritual of guarding what God has given you. Number 24. Green peas. The humble strength pearls. It is easy to overlook these small, bright green spheres. They are a simple side dish, often pushed to the edge of a plate and forgotten. But an ancient truth is hidden in their simplicity. A single cooked cup provides 8 to 9 grams of protein, but they also house a powerful combination of potassium and magnesium, the 2 minerals that regulate every single contraction and relaxation cycle in your leg muscles. When you take a step, your brain sends a signal. Potassium floods out of the muscle cell, and magnesium allows it to relax back. An imbalance in either, and you get cramps, stiffness, and a feeling of heavy, unresponsive legs. I have seen this in people who come to me complaining that their legs feel like concrete blocks by the end of the day. They are often walking around with a silent magnesium and potassium deficit. Green peas are a direct, God-given way to replenish both. Modern research on pea protein has been extraordinary. Studies have shown that supplementing with pea protein produces gains in muscle thickness that are equivalent to whey protein. This is a profound revelation for anyone who believes they need a fancy animal-based powder to rebuild their legs. The traditional use here is simple. Keep a bag of frozen organic peas in your freezer and add a generous cup to stews, soups, or simply sauté them in olive oil with a little garlic and a pinch of sea salt. You are not just eating a vegetable. You are eating a targeted electrolyte delivery system wrapped in a significant dose of muscle-building amino acids. The peas, when they burst between your teeth, release not just flavor, but a flood of the exact minerals your calf muscles are crying out for at the end of a long day. Think of them as tiny green pearls of restoration. Each one a capsule of the electrical harmony your legs need to move without complaint. Number 23, chia seeds, the endurance gel of the ancients. These tiny seeds, which form a gel when mixed with water, were a staple for Aztec warriors and messengers who would run vast distances with nothing but a pouch of chia to sustain them. They understood, without a laboratory, that this gel provided sustained energy and hydration. For your legs after 60, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds giving you 4 grams of complete protein is just the opening act. The real magic for leg strength lies in their capacity to hold up to 12 times their weight in water. Dehydration is one of the primary hidden causes of muscle weakness and cramping in older adults. When your muscle cells are even slightly dehydrated, their ability to generate force plummets. Consuming chia seeds that have been soaked creates a gel that slows the release of fluids and electrolytes into your system, providing a released hydration that keeps your leg muscle cells plump and functional. Furthermore, they are dense with omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, a full symphony of nutrients required for the electrical signaling that makes a muscle fire. The traditional use is to soak a tablespoon in a glass of water with a squeeze of lemon for at least 30 minutes. You will watch them transform, each tiny seed developing a translucent, jelly-like halo. Drink this down before a walk. You are not just hydrating. You are coating your internal systems with a lubricating gel that ensures the signals from your brain reach your leg muscles without static. A concept modern sports science calls hydromimetic fluid delivery. Think of it as an internal irrigation system, a slow-release reservoir that keeps the soil of your muscle tissue moist and conductive long after you have swallowed it. The Aztec runners knew something we forgot, and modern science is only now catching up to their wisdom. Number 22, nutritional yeast, the golden dust of nerve restoration. This is a modern rediscovery of a profound truth about the connection between your nerves and your legs. Nutritional yeast delivers a surprising 8 grams of complete protein in just 2 tablespoons. But its position on this list is secured by something far more critical for legs after 60. The B vitamin complex, specifically B12. A deficiency in B12 is devastatingly common in adults over 60, and it mimics the aging process itself. It causes weakness, numbness, and a terrifying decline in leg function and balance, not because the muscle is gone, but because the electrical wiring from the brain to the leg is degrading. Nutritional yeast is often fortified with B12, making it a direct, non-negotiable intervention. In Scripture, yeast is a powerful metaphor, sometimes for sin that puffs up, but also for the kingdom of heaven that a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal until it was all leavened. This is a positive, invisible, transformative power working from the inside out. That is exactly what the B vitamins in nutritional yeast do. They are the silent workers, restoring the myelin sheath around your peripheral nerves, the fatty insulation that lets the signal travel fast and clear from your spine to your toes. The traditional use is to sprinkle it generously over your eggs, your sautéed greens, or your lentil soup. It has a savory, almost cheese-like flavor that deepens the taste of whatever it touches. A word of caution here, not all nutritional yeast is fortified with B12. You must check the label. If it is not fortified, you are missing the critical nerve repair component. Look for the words cyanocobalamin on the ingredient list. Think of it not as a cheese substitute, but as a nerve repair dust. Sprinkle it on your food with intention. You are literally feeding the electrical grid of your legs, so that the command to stand firm and walk strong gets delivered without interruption. A golden powder that reinsulates the wiring that age has stripped bare. Number 21, soy milk, the bone muscle bridge. After 60, the conversation about strong legs must extend to the very foundation they stand on. Your bones. A leg is a marvel of engineering where muscle pulls on bone to create movement. If the bone is fragile, the strongest muscle in the world is useless. Soy milk provides 7 to 8 grams of complete protein per cup, a perfect amino acid profile that feeds the muscle belly. But it is also fortified with calcium and vitamin D, the two substances that form the literal structural matrix of your femur and tibia. The Bible speaks of the body as a temple. You cannot hang a heavy bell, a powerful contracting muscle, on a crumbling bell tower, a porous bone. Soy milk is a strategic food that addresses both simultaneously. Modern science has shown that soy protein supplementation in older adults produces comparable gains in lean muscle mass to dairy protein. But combine that with the vitamin D, and you are addressing the fall risk equation from both ends. Vitamin D deficiency is directly linked to muscle weakness and a higher rate of falls, especially in northern climates where sunlight is scarce for half the year. The traditional use is straightforward. Use unsweetened soy milk as the liquid base for your smoothies or your oatmeal. Warm it gently on the stove with a dash of cinnamon and a drop of vanilla, and you have a comforting, bone-building evening drink. You are not just pouring a beverage. You are pouring a liquid scaffold that reinforces the very pillars your legs depend on. Think of it as a bridge between two worlds, the world of muscle and the world of bone, uniting them in a single, creamy liquid so that neither fails the other when you rise to stand. Number 20, pistachios, the emerald architects of muscle. I told you to stick around for number 20, and here is why. Pistachios are the highest protein nut by unit count, packing 6 grams per ounce. But their color gives away a deeper secret. That vibrant green is not just aesthetics. It signals the presence of lutein and zeaxanthin, but more importantly, it points to a uniquely high leucine content among nuts. Leucine is the master amino acid, the trigger, the foreman on the job site who shouts the command that starts building. Without sufficient leucine at a meal, the whole muscle protein synthesis process does not fire, regardless of how much total protein you consume. As you age, this trigger gets rusty, a condition called anabolic resistance, meaning you need a louder, more potent leucine signal to achieve the same result you got in your 20s. Pistachios deliver that concentrated signal in a small, portable package. Research shows that pistachio consumption can improve endothelial function, which means they help your blood vessels open up. For your legs, this translates to better nutrient delivery and oxygen supply during a walk or a climb. The traditional use is to keep a small, pre-portioned bag of shelled pistachios in your pocket or your car. When you feel that mid-afternoon slump, eat them one by one slowly, savoring the earthy, buttery taste. Think of a small handful of pistachios as a precision tool, a master key that fits into the anabolic lock of your leg muscle cells and turns it, signaling that it is time to build, not break down. The green is not just color. It is a visual promise of the leucine within, the architectural foreman your aging muscles have been waiting for. Number 19, pumpkin seeds, the mineral powerhouse of the harvest. In the agrarian world of the Bible, the harvest was a sacred time, and the seeds were never wasted. They were the concentrated life force of the plant, stored up for the next generation. Pumpkin seeds are a testament to this principle. A quarter cup delivers 9 grams of protein, but they are one of the richest natural sources of magnesium and zinc on the planet. For legs after 60, this duo is non-negotiable. Magnesium is the relaxation mineral. When your legs feel twitchy, restless, or cramp in the middle of the night, it is often a magnesium crisis. The muscle cannot let go of its contraction. Zinc, meanwhile, is a master regulator of muscle repair and hormone function, including testosterone and growth factors that maintain muscle mass. Here is what modern science has revealed. Zinc absorption naturally decreases with age, and suboptimal zinc is directly linked to reduced muscle strength and slower recovery from injury. The traditional use is to keep a jar of raw, sprouted pumpkin seeds and add them to everything. Grind them into a powder using a small coffee grinder and add it to your lentils. Toss them whole on your salad. Or simply eat a small handful in the afternoon with a piece of fruit. Sprouting them first, by soaking overnight and letting them dry, activates enzymes that make the zinc far more absorbable. You are not just eating a seed. You are replenishing the electrical conductivity of your muscle tissue, ensuring that the current of life flows through your legs without shorting out. Think of them as the concentrated essence of the harvest, a seed that holds within it the mineral code for a peaceful, cramp-free night and a strong, steady morning. Number 18, black beans, the dark fuel for the inner forge. Black beans provide 15 grams of protein per cup. But what sets them apart is the equal amount of fiber they bring, 15 grams. We often think of fiber just for digestion, but the connection to leg strength is more direct than most realize. Inside your gut lives an entire ecosystem of bacteria, what modern science calls the microbiome. The Bible speaks often of the bowels as a seat of compassion and health. A healthy gut microbiome is correlated with greater lean muscle mass, better leg strength, and faster recovery in older adults. The fiber in black beans is a prebiotic, a specific type of food that feeds the beneficial bacteria. When those bacteria feast on the fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids that travel through your bloodstream and reduce systemic inflammation. Chronic, low-grade inflammation is one of the primary drivers of sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle. By eating black beans, you are not just feeding your leg muscles directly. You are stoking an internal forge in your gut that produces anti-inflammatory compounds, cooling the fires of muscle wasting and creating an environment where your quads and hamstrings can actually hold onto their protein. The traditional use is to cook them slowly from dry, with a strip of kombu seaweed in the pot to tenderize them and add trace minerals. A long, slow simmer with garlic, onion, and a bay leaf transforms them into a velvety, almost meaty stew. Think of a bowl of black beans as a peace treaty for your internal terrain, calming the inflammatory chaos so your legs can rebuild in peace. The dark color itself is a clue, rich in anthocyanins that further quench the oxidative stress that ages your muscle fibers prematurely. Number 17, edamame, the supple soybean of the East. These young, green soybeans offer 17 grams of complete protein per cup. They are a snapshot of the plant at its peak vitality, captured before the protein is converted into a more complex form. This means the protein is incredibly accessible. But for legs after 60, the magnesium content is the headlining act. I keep returning to magnesium because it is the most common deficiency in adults over 60. And its absence is a direct cause of reduced muscle strength, poor balance, and increased fall risk. Edamame is a direct antidote. The biblical principle is the seed-bearing plant yielding fruit. Edamame is the literal fruit of the soybean plant, containing life-giving potential. Modern studies on soy protein have been conclusive. When consumed in adequate amounts, soy protein supplementation produces comparable gains in lean muscle mass to dairy protein. It is a complete protein, meaning it contains all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot make. The traditional use is simple. Steam a cup of frozen edamame in their pods until they are bright green and tender. Sprinkle them with a little flaky sea salt and eat them directly from the pod, using your teeth to pop the beans out. There is a tactile satisfaction in this, a connection to the food that processed snacks can never replicate. This is not just a snack. It is a direct infusion of the most bioavailable form of soy, hitting your leg muscles with a full spectrum of amino acids and the magnesium they need to relax and contract with fluid grace. Think of each pod as a tiny, sealed packet of youthful protein, preserved at the moment of peak vitality and delivered directly to the muscle fibers that lift you up the stairs. Number 16, hemp seeds, the perfect ratio of restoration. 3 tablespoons of these small, cream-colored seeds deliver 10 grams of complete protein. But they contain something even more rare and precious, a perfectly balanced ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. This is the holy grail of inflammation management. In the modern diet, omega-6 fats are wildly overabundant, and they drive a pro-inflammatory state that accelerates muscle breakdown. Hemp seeds provide the anti-inflammatory omega-3s in a ratio that directly counteracts this modern imbalance. The Bible speaks of the seed-bearing herb, and hemp is a herb whose seed is a gift of balance. For your legs after 60. This means the muscle proteins you eat are more likely to be used for building, rather than being broken down in a state of inflammatory chaos. Furthermore, the protein in hemp seeds is incredibly digestible, with a form of globulin that your body recognizes and absorbs without the digestive distress some experience with other proteins. The traditional use is to blend 3 tablespoons into a smoothie or stir them into your Greek yogurt. They have a mild, nutty flavor that disappears into whatever you add them to. You can also sprinkle them over a bowl of warm oatmeal, where they soften and release their oils. Think of them as a peacemaker, entering your bloodstream and calming the inflammatory alarm bells so your leg muscles can finally respond to the anabolic signals from your food. The perfect ratio is not a marketing claim. It is a biological key that unlocks a state of internal calm, the only state in which true muscle repair can occur. Number 15, peanut butter, the dense and steady anchor. For an older adult struggling to maintain body weight and muscle mass, a calorie-dense, protein-rich food is not a luxury. It is a therapeutic tool. Peanut butter is precisely that. 2 tablespoons provide a substantial dose of protein and healthy fats, offering a slow-burning fuel that prevents the body from cannibalizing its own leg muscle tissue for energy between meals. The ancient world recognized the value of ground nuts and seeds as a sustaining paste. While peanuts are technically legumes, their macronutrient profile functions like a nut butter. The science is straightforward. A consistent caloric surplus from quality sources, combined with adequate protein, is required to halt muscle loss. When appetite wanes, which it often does after 60, a few spoonfuls of peanut butter can deliver the nutritional density needed to preserve the quadriceps you need to rise from a chair. The traditional use is to spread it on a slice of whole grain bread or blend it into a banana smoothie. But here is a crucial caution: you must read the label. Most commercial peanut butters are loaded with hydrogenated oils and sugar. You want the kind where the ingredients list is exactly one item: peanuts. The oil will separate and sit on top. Stir it in. That separation is a sign of purity. Think of it not as a treat, but as a calorie-dense anchor. A weight that keeps your muscle mass from drifting away on the currents of a fading appetite. When you feel too tired to cook, too weary to chew, a spoonful of real peanut butter is a lifeline your legs will thank you for tomorrow. Number 14, tempeh, the fermented fortress. This is a profound step up from basic soy. Tempeh is made from whole soybeans that have been fermented, binding them into a dense, nutty cake. A half cup delivers 15 to 17 grams of protein. But the fermentation process is the key that unlocks a treasure chest. Fermentation makes the protein and minerals vastly more bioavailable, essentially pre-digesting the beans so your older digestive system can absorb the amino acids with ease. It is also a probiotic food, directly seeding your gut with beneficial microbes. Remember the gut muscle axis I spoke of? Tempeh fortifies it. The bacteria in tempeh help create a gut environment that reduces systemic inflammation, thereby protecting your leg muscles from catabolic signals. The biblical tradition of fermentation, of allowing the dough to rise and the grape to transform, is a metaphor for this process. Something is being elevated into a more potent form. The traditional use is to slice tempeh into thin strips, marinate it in a mixture of olive oil, a splash of tamari, and a crushed clove of garlic, and then pan-fry it until it is deeply golden and crisp on the edges. The nutty, mushroomy flavor is deeply satisfying. You are building a fortress for your legs, with walls made of complete protein and a garrison of probiotic bacteria defending against the inflammatory sieges that cause muscle wasting. Think of the fermentation as a sacred transformation, a slow, patient process that turns a simple bean into a bastion of strength. Number 13, Extra virgin olive oil, the liquid gold of the anointing. I told you about number 13. This was so prized in biblical times that it was used to anoint kings and light the lamps in the temple. It was currency, medicine, and sacred offering. And modern science has just caught up to why it is the single most powerful defender of aging legs. Consuming at least 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily was associated with a 37% lower incidence of sarcopenia. A 37% reduction in the disease of muscle loss. How is this possible? Olive oil contains over 30 polyphenols, but the most famous is olecanthal, a compound that behaves in the body exactly like ibuprofen, reducing inflammation without the side effects. But it goes deeper. These polyphenols can actually stimulate the mTOR pathway, the master regulator of muscle protein synthesis. Here is the staggering fact you must hear. After age 70, the body's sensitivity to this mTOR pathway can decrease by approximately 40%. It is like the keyhole to muscle growth is getting smaller. Olive oil helps keep that pathway responsive, lubricating the lock so the protein you eat can actually do its job. The traditional use is to never cook without it, and to finish every meal with a raw drizzle. Buy the darkest glass bottle you can find, from a single estate if possible, and store it away from heat and light. When you pour it over your lentils or your greens, let it pool in the crevices. That green gold liquid is not a garnish, it is the medicine. Think of it as the liquid gold that anoints your leg muscles, keeping the anabolic gates open and the inflammatory fires quenched. A sacred oil that quite literally preserves the flesh from decay. The kings were anointed with it for a reason. It conferred strength, and now we understand the biochemistry of that ancient ritual. Number 12. Spinach, the deep green circulatory river. This is not just a leaf. This is a source of dietary nitrates, compounds that your body converts into nitric oxide, a gas that literally opens up your blood vessels. For your legs, this is the river of life. After age 75, the body's ability to recycle nitric oxide decreases by approximately 35%. The pipes begin to narrow. Nutrient delivery and waste removal in your calf and thigh muscles slow to a trickle. You feel it as heaviness, fatigue, and a lack of power. 1 cup of cooked spinach provides about 157 milligrams of magnesium, roughly 37% of your daily requirement, which we have established is the relaxation key. But the nitrates are the true circulatory miracle. They go directly to the endothelial lining of your blood vessels and command them to dilate. Modern clinical trials have shown that consuming nitrate-rich greens improves blood flow and muscle oxygenation, effectively turning back the clock on vascular aging. The Bible speaks of trees planted by rivers of water whose leaf does not wither. The traditional use here is critical. Cook your spinach in a quality fat, like that extra virgin olive oil we just discussed, which significantly increases the absorption of its fat-soluble compounds. Sauté it gently until it just wilts, a bright, vivid green, not a dull, overcooked gray. You are creating a deep green river that delivers the amino acids from your meal directly into the deepest fibers of your vastus medialis and gastrocnemius. Think of that wilted spinach on your plate as a vascular key, unlocking the narrow channels in your legs and letting the healing nutrients flood in. Without this river, the other superfoods on this list are stranded on the shore, unable to reach the muscle cells that need them. Number 11. Lentils, the humble stew of the birthright. The story of Esau selling his birthright for a bowl of lentil stew is one of the most famous in Scripture. Esau wasn't foolish. He was exhausted, and he knew exactly what that red stew contained. A single cooked cup of lentils provides 18 grams of protein, but it also provides a massive dose of iron and potassium. Iron is the molecule that grabs oxygen and carries it to your leg muscles. Without iron, you are breathing, but the oxygen never reaches the finish line. Your legs feel like lead. Potassium is the master electrolyte that governs the electrical excitability of your muscle cells. Lentils provide both in a slow-digesting matrix of complex carbohydrates that keep your blood sugar stable and your energy sustained. Modern science has revealed that the combination of plant-based protein and fiber in lentils creates a unique metabolic environment that favors lean muscle preservation over fat storage. The traditional use is to make a simple, thick lentil soup with garlic and cumin. Start with a base of sautéed onion in olive oil, add the lentils, cover with water or bone broth, and let it simmer until the lentils collapse into a creamy, earthy stew. The smell alone, that deep, grounding aroma, is a form of medicine. Think of a bowl of lentils as the original energy bar. A meal so complete and powerful that a man was willing to trade his entire inheritance for it. The real question is, why aren't you eating it every week? Esau understood, in his primal exhaustion, that this red stew held the power to restore his strength. We have the science now. He had the instinct. Number 10, beets. The crimson key to explosive power. If spinach is the river, beets are the floodgate. They are densely packed with nitrates that convert to nitric oxide, promoting blood vessel opening with an almost immediate effect. A landmark study found that older adults consuming beet juice before exercise showed a 38% increase in blood flow to brain regions associated with motor control. This means the signal from your brain to your legs is not just a matter of nerve health. It is a matter of blood flow. Your motor cortex needs oxygen to fire the signals that command your quadriceps to contract. Beets turbocharge that connection. For legs after 60, this translates to a noticeable increase in walking speed, stair climbing power, and balance confidence. The traditional use is to roast beets until they are tender and sweet, their skin slipping off easily. Then slice them into salads with goat cheese and walnuts, or to juice them raw with a little ginger and a green apple. The juice is potent and fast-acting. Drink it about an hour before a walk, and you may feel a subtle lightness, a sense that your legs are responding more quickly to your intentions. Think of it as a natural pre-workout that God buried in the ground, a crimson root that opens the vascular highways from your brain all the way down to your toes, making every step feel lighter and more controlled. The deep red stain it leaves on your cutting board is a reminder of its power, a pigment that carries within it the code for vasodilation, for opening the floodgates of life-giving oxygen to the very muscles that carry you forward. Number 9, cottage cheese, the slow-release night watchman. As the day ends and you sleep, your body enters a prolonged fasting state. For an older adult, this is a danger zone where muscle breakdown can accelerate. Cottage cheese is primarily casein protein, a unique type that coagulates in your stomach and releases its amino acids gradually over 5 to 7 hours. It is a slow-release drip of healing. A single cup provides a massive dose of protein, but the kinetic profile is what matters. Consuming casein protein before sleep has been shown in clinical trials to significantly increase overnight muscle protein synthesis in older adults. It is like posting a night watchman over your leg muscles, ensuring that while you rest, the building continues. The Bible speaks of the Lord giving to his beloved in their sleep. This is a nutritional embodiment of that principle. The traditional use is to eat a half cup of full-fat cottage cheese an hour before bed. Do not add sugary fruit preserves. Add a sprinkle of black pepper or some fresh chives. The savory approach keeps your insulin low, which is critical for overnight repair. Think of it as a nocturnal repair crew, clocking in as you clock out, laying down new muscle fibers in your hamstrings and glutes while you dream. You wake not just rested, but literally rebuilt. The microscopic tears of the day, woven back together by the slow, steady drip of amino acids that cottage cheese released in the quiet hours of the night. It is the food of patient, invisible restoration. Number 8, chickpeas. The satisfying stabilizer of the frame. A cooked cup of chickpeas provides 15 grams of protein and a profound sense of satiety. For legs after 60, maintaining a healthy body weight is crucial. Every extra pound of body fat is a load your knees and hips must carry. And it is an endocrine organ pumping out inflammatory signals that directly antagonize your muscle fibers. Chickpeas, with their unique combination of protein and soluble fiber, regulate appetite and blood sugar in a way that few foods can. They stabilize the entire metabolic frame. The biblical lands were thick with chickpeas, a staple of the common diet that sustained long days of manual labor. Modern science has confirmed that chickpea consumption improves glycemic control and reduces inflammatory markers. By managing your insulin and inflammation with a bowl of hummus or a chickpea stew, you are not just feeding your legs. You are shedding the inflammatory burden that actively eats away at your muscle tissue. The traditional use is to blend them with tahini, lemon, garlic, and that number 13 extra virgin olive oil to make hummus. Let the food processor run until the mixture is silky smooth, a pale, creamy canvas. Dip raw vegetables into it, spread it on whole grain bread. Or thin it with a little water, and use it as a sauce over roasted vegetables. Think of it as a metabolic stabilizer, leveling out the internal hormonal terrain so your legs are walking on solid ground, not a swamp of inflammation. The chickpea is a humble legume, but it carries within it the power to quiet the internal chaos that silently steals your strength. Number 7, quinoa, the sacred mother grain of the Incas. Quinoa is one of the rare plant foods that is a complete protein, containing all 9 essential amino acids in sufficient proportions. A cup of cooked quinoa provides 8 grams of this perfect protein, but it is also packed with magnesium and manganese. The Incas called it the mother grain and held it as sacred. There is a wisdom in that reverence. This is a seed that delivers a protein profile closer to milk than to a grain. For your legs, this means you are getting a full spectrum of building blocks, including the leucine needed to trigger muscle protein synthesis, without any of the digestive inflammation some people get from gluten-containing grains. Modern research has compared quinoa favorably to casein in its ability to support muscle repair. The traditional use is to cook it in bone broth instead of water, layering an animal protein source on top of the plant base, and then tossing it with roasted vegetables and a generous glug of olive oil. Rinse it well before cooking to remove the saponins, a natural bitter coating that can irritate the gut. When it is done, the tiny spiral germ will have separated, a little whitetail on each seed that signals it is perfectly cooked. Think of quinoa as a foundational platform, a complete amino acid stage upon which the drama of muscle building can be performed without missing any actors. The Incas knew it was sacred. We now know it is scientifically complete, a rare and precious gift from the high mountain terraces that can rebuild the legs that carry you through your own valleys. Number 6, tofu, the versatile canvas of plant power. Tofu is a complete protein, containing all 9 essential amino acids, and it has been a staple in Eastern cultures for millennia. For legs after 60, it offers a blank canvas that absorbs the healing flavors and fats you cook it with. The science on soy protein is robust. Soy protein supplementation has produced comparable gains in lean muscle mass to dairy protein in older adults when consumed in adequate amounts. The key is adequate amounts. You need a solid block, not a few silken cubes in a soup. The traditional use is to press a block of firm tofu for at least 30 minutes to expel the water. Cube it and pan-fry it in extra virgin olive oil until it is golden and crisp on all sides. Then toss it with a sauce made from garlic, ginger, and a touch of sesame. The exterior should be a deep, burnished gold, the interior still tender and custardy. This creates a protein-dense centerpiece for any meal. Think of tofu not as a bland substitute, but as a protein sponge, ready to soak up the polyphenols of olive oil and the circulatory benefits of garlic, delivering a complete amino acid payload directly to the quadriceps that lift you out of your chair. The crisp edges give way to a soft heart, a textural experience that makes eating for strength a genuine pleasure, not a chore. Number 5, wild-caught salmon, the pink flesh of the anti-inflammatory resurrection. We are in the top 5 now, and the distinction between wild-caught and farm-raised is not a marketing gimmick. It is a biblical principle of eating the food that God designed in its natural context. Wild-caught salmon is swimming with omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA, which literally increase muscle protein synthesis rates. A study found that a group consuming omega-3s, equivalent to 3 servings of wild salmon per week, experienced a 22% increase in their muscle protein synthesis rate. A 22% boost in your body's ability to build leg muscle just from the fat. But it goes further. One 6-ounce serving of wild-caught sockeye salmon can provide up to 988 IU of vitamin D3. The recommended daily minimum for adults over 70 is 800 IU. You are getting more than a full day's dose of the vitamin that is directly and causally linked to muscle strength and fall prevention. Vitamin D receptors are on your muscle cells. Without the key of vitamin D, the door remains locked. The traditional use is to bake or pan-sear a portion of wild sockeye until the flesh just flakes, and eat it with a side of sautéed spinach. The skin, when crisped, is a source of collagen and should be eaten, not discarded. Think of it as a resurrection meal for your legs. A flesh that delivers the fats to calm inflammation and the vitamin to unlock strength. Swimming straight from the cold, clean water's God ordained for it. The deep red-orange color is astaxanthin, another potent anti-inflammatory that adds another layer of protection to your muscle cell membranes. This is not just dinner. This is a strategic intervention. Number 4, whole eggs. The golden orb of the anabolic trigger. I told you number 4 was a food that rebuilds your legs while you sleep, but its power is active at any hour. 2 large whole eggs provide approximately 1.6 grams of leucine, the precise trigger amino acid I spoke of earlier. But the yolk, the golden sun at the center, is where the deep magic resides. It contains choline, vitamin D, and phosphatidylcholine, which supports muscle cell membrane integrity. After age 65, the body develops anabolic resistance. Your muscles become hard of hearing. They need a louder, more concentrated leucine signal to spark the building process. Eggs deliver that signal in a form that is almost perfectly bioavailable. A clinical study showed that whole eggs post-exercise produced a greater muscle-building response than egg whites alone. The yolk is not your enemy. It is the amplifier. The traditional use is 2 eggs, cooked gently in a teaspoon of olive oil, with the yolks still runny. That runny yolk is liquid choline, liquid vitamin D, a sauce of anabolic command. When you cut into it and it spills over the white, you are watching the most powerful muscle-building signal in the food kingdom being released onto your plate. Think of the humble egg as a self-contained anabolic trigger, a golden key that fits the rusty lock of your aging leg muscles and turns it with authority, whispering to your quads that it is time to grow strong again. Eat them in the evening, and that leucine and choline will work through the night, a slow, steady repair cycle that you will feel in the morning when your legs hit the floor with a little more spring. Number 3, Greek yogurt. The thick, biblical curd of the promised land. The phrase "a land flowing with milk and honey" appears over and over in Scripture. It was a nutritional promise. Greek yogurt is the concentrated essence of that promise. A single cup of plain, full-fat Greek yogurt contains 17 to 20 grams of high-quality protein, including branch-chain amino acids like leucine, isoleucine, and valine, which are efficiently absorbed directly into muscle tissue. It is considered highly bioavailable, unlike some plant proteins that require complex combinations. This is a direct, ready-to-use infusion, and it contains probiotic cultures such as lactobacillus, which directly influence the gut-muscle axis we have been tracing. You are not just eating protein. You are seeding your gut with beneficial bacteria that send signals through your bloodstream telling your leg muscles to hold on and rebuild. Modern research has shown that leucine-rich dairy protein stimulates greater muscle protein synthesis in older adults compared to soy or wheat protein. The traditional use is to consume a cup of full-fat Greek yogurt within 30 to 45 minutes of physical activity, even just a walk. This is the window when your leg muscles are like sponges, primed to soak up the amino acids. Spoon it out thick and creamy, the way it clings to the spoon a sign of its concentration. Think of it as the curds that sustain the patriarchs. A thick, living food that marries the building blocks of muscle with the bacterial wisdom of the gut, creating a symphony of strength from the inside out. The land flowing with milk and honey was not a metaphor for a nice place. It was a promise of physical sustenance, of foods that build strong bodies. This yogurt is the direct descendant of that promise. Number 2, sardines. The tiny fish with the giant backbone of the earth. Packed tightly in their tins, these small, silvery fish are one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the entire planet. They are a complete protein source, but they come with the bones intact. Those soft, edible bones are pure calcium and phosphorus, the very minerals that form the rigid scaffolding of your femur. As I said with soy milk, muscle without bone is a bell without a tower. Sardines give you both in a single bite. Beyond the bone-building minerals, they are swimming in the same omega-3s as salmon, but with even less risk of mercury accumulation because they are low on the food chain. The omega-3s quench the inflammatory fire that drives sarcopenia, while the protein feeds the muscle, and the minerals harden the bone. It is a trifecta of leg integrity. The Bible is filled with stories of fish, of miraculous catches, of a food that was central to the lives of the disciples. The traditional use is to mash a few sardines with a fork, mix them with a little lemon juice and black pepper, and spread them on a piece of sturdy toast. The lemon brightens the rich, oily flavor, and the pepper adds a gentle heat. You can also toss them into a salad with those roasted beets we talked about. Think of it as a structural renovation for your legs, a tiny fish that carries the raw materials to rebuild both the cables, your muscles, and the concrete pillars, your bones, that allow you to stand firm. The bones you barely notice as you chew are literally fortifying the bones you stand on. It is a direct, elegant transfer of strength from one creature to another, a gift from the sea that hardens the very frame that holds you upright. Number 1. Bone broth, the ancient, simmered foundation of life. We have arrived at the number 1 protein-rich superfood for stronger legs after 60, and it is not a solid food at all. It is a liquid. Bone broth is the slow-simmered extraction of animal bones, ligaments, and marrow, cooked for so long that the very matrix of the animal dissolves into the water. This is the foundational food of every traditional culture on Earth, the pot that never went cold in the hearth. It delivers protein in the form of collagen and gelatin, specific amino acids like glycine and proline that are not abundant in muscle meat. Your leg strength is not just about the muscle fibers themselves. It is about the tendons that attach the muscle to the bone, the ligaments that stabilize the joints, and the cartilage that cushions the knee and hip. Modern science has now shown that consuming collagen peptides can stimulate the body's own synthesis of collagen in these connective tissues, improving joint comfort and tendon resilience. This is the forgotten piece. You can have strong quadriceps, but if the patellar tendon that connects it to your shin is brittle and inflamed, you will not walk without pain. Bone broth provides the raw materials for the entire system. The traditional use is to drink a warm mug of it daily, seasoned with a little sea salt, or to use it as the cooking liquid for your quinoa, lentils, and greens. When you make it yourself, use a mix of marrow bones, knuckles, and feet if you can find them. Add a splash of apple cider vinegar to the water to help draw the minerals out of the bones. Let it barely simmer, not boil, for at least 12 hours, until the broth is rich and golden and sets into a wobbly jelly when chilled. That jiggle is the sign of success. It is the collagen. Think of it as the emergency room in your backyard that has been there all along, just waiting for you to remember it exists. It is the liquid foundation that cushions your joints, repairs your tendons, and provides the collagen matrix that holds every muscle fiber in your legs together. This was not a modern invention. This was the original, ancient, God-given superfood that kept generations walking strong until the very end of their days. The pot that simmered on the hearth was not just dinner. It was the daily renewal of the physical body, a warm, savory reminder that God provided everything we need to stand, walk, and move with strength hidden in the bones of His creation.